In the far south of Arabia, where the sands met the mountains and the winds carried whispers of ancient trade, there once stood a kingdom unlike any other, Saba, a land of gold, incense, and glory. It was said that the kingdom's gardens bloomed even in drought, that its palaces shimmered beneath the blazing sun, and that its people, masters of trade and architecture, bowed not to Allah, but to the sun itself. They worshipped light, not realizing the true light that created it. They saw power in the sun's warmth, but ignored the one who gave it heat and life. In the heart of this empire ruled a woman, wise, fearless, and unmatched in intellect. Her name was Bilqis, Queen of Sheba. She was not born of ordinary circumstance. Legends whispered that her mother was a jinn, that her beauty and mind came from both worlds, human and unseen. But truth, as always, is purer than myth. Bilqis was no child of magic. She was the child of destiny, a woman chosen by history to meet one of Allah's mightiest prophets. Her rule began after years of chaos. When her father, the former king, was betrayed and slain, the kingdom trembled on the edge of collapse. But Bilqis, young, untested, yet unshaken, rose to lead. She calmed the tribes, rebuilt the army, and restored order to the throne. Her council, though filled with old men of pride, could not deny the precision of her mind. She listened before she spoke. She ruled with wisdom, not impulse. And above all, she believed power must be guided by intellect. Yet for all her brilliance, her heart still bowed to the wrong God. Far away, hundreds of miles to the north, in the blessed lands of Jerusalem, there ruled another monarch. But his throne was not raised by ambition. It was granted by revelation. His court was not filled by men alone. It was shared with birds, beasts, and jinn. He was Sulaiman, son of Dawood, peace be upon them. Prophet, king, servant of Allah. He spoke the language of the birds, commanded the winds, and ruled with divine justice over all creation. One morning, as the prophet reviewed his armies, he noticed a small absence in the sky. Among the ranks of birds, the hoopoe was missing. Soon the small bird returned, its wings heavy with a message that would change the course of kingdoms. It landed before Sulaiman and said, "I have come from Saba with certain news. I found there a woman ruling over them. She has been given all things and she has a magnificent throne. But I found her and her people prostrating to the sun instead of Allah." Quran 27:22-24. A woman ruler, a nation of sun worshippers, a throne of gold and pride. Sulaiman, peace be upon him, was not angered. He was moved by duty. For a prophet does not seek conquest. He seeks guidance for those astray. So he took up his pen and wrote a letter unlike any written by a king. A message not of war, but of invitation. A call not to surrender to men, but to submit to Allah. And so the message began its journey, over sands, over kingdoms, from a prophet of God to a queen of men, unaware that her next sunrise would bring not just a letter, but a test that would reveal the truth of her soul. Before we continue to the next chapter, if this journey has moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to spread this knowledge far and wide. Every share may guide another heart closer to Allah, because this is more than history, it's revelation brought to life. Next, Chapter 2, the message from Prophet Sulaiman. Morning in Saba was unlike any other. The sun, their god, rose in full splendor, casting a golden veil upon the gardens and domes. To her people, it was divine light. To Bilqis, it was a symbol of power, radiant, commanding, eternal. Yet this morning, a shadow moved across that golden light. Her guards looked on with surprise. The small bird, carrying a sealed parchment, marked with the insignia of a distant king. The letter was laid before her throne, its seal, a symbol she did not know, but its aura, something beyond this world. Bilqis lifted it carefully, broke the seal, and read words that would echo through the ages. It is from Sulaiman, and it begins, "In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Do not exalt yourselves above me, but come to me in submission to Allah." Quran 27:30-31. The queen lowered the letter slowly, its words pressing upon her heart like an unseen weight. She had received letters before, from rival kings, from warlords, from merchants of great empires, but never one that began in the name of a god greater than the sun. Bilqis summoned her council, the wisest men of her realm, the generals, the merchants, the guardians of her kingdom's pride. They gathered in the grand hall, sunlight streaming through stained glass windows, the air thick with the scent of incense and politics. And she spoke. "Oh my—"
A noble letter has been delivered to me. It is from Sulaiman, and it calls us to submit to Allah. Quran 27-29-31. Murmurs filled the room. To them, the word submission meant surrender, the loss of power, of sovereignty, of pride. One elder stood, his voice sharp. "O Queen, we are a people of strength and great in might. The choice is yours, so command us, and we shall obey." Quran 27-33. She could order war, and none would oppose her. But wisdom whispered louder than pride. She knew the cost of war, not in gold or blood, but in the destruction of truth. Her voice, calm yet firm, filled the hall. Indeed, when kings enter a city, they ruin it and make the most honorable of its people humiliated. But I will send to them a gift and see with what the messengers return. Quran 27-34-35. Her decision was not cowardice, it was strategy. She would test this man, see if his power was of earth or heaven. So she sent forth her finest envoys, bearing gold, incense, and treasures beyond counting. A royal offering meant to test the soul of a prophet. When the messengers reached the court of Prophet Sulaiman, they were met not with flattery nor with awe. They were met with truth. Sulaiman looked upon the treasures and said, "Do you offer me wealth? What Allah has given me is far better than what He has given you. You rejoice in your gift, but I rejoice in the mercy of my Lord." Quran 27-36. The envoys were stunned. Never before had a ruler refused gold. Never had a man spoken with such calm power, as if the treasures of the world were dust to him. He turned to his hosts and said, "Go back to her, for if she does not come to me in submission, I shall come to her with armies she cannot withstand." Quran 27-37. When they returned and told her all that had happened, Bilqis's heart stirred, not in fear, but in realization. This was no ordinary king. His power was not of armies or gold. It was the power of truth. She spoke softly, almost to herself. "Perhaps it is time I go to him myself." And thus began a journey that would lead the greatest queen of her age from the throne of gold to the light of guidance. Before we move on, if this story has inspired reflection within your heart, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Let these timeless Quranic stories reach more hearts, and more souls find the truth that once reached Queen Bilqis herself. Next, Chapter 3, the throne, the palace, and the truth. Days turned to weeks as the Queen of Sheba journeyed north. Each night she looked upon the stars, the same stars that her people worshipped, and wondered if perhaps they too bowed to something greater. She who once ruled by reason and sunlight was now guided by faith, though she did not yet know its name. And in Jerusalem, Prophet Sulaiman, peace be upon him, awaited her arrival. But before she reached his court, he turned to his assembly. Men, jinn, and creatures gathered under the command of revelation. Sulaiman spoke. "O assembly,"
which of you will bring me her throne before she arrives to me in submission?
Quran 27:38. A mighty jinn rose, his voice like thunder.
I will bring it to you before you rise from your place. Truly I am strong and trustworthy for such a task.
Quran 27:39. But before he could move, another stood, one gifted with knowledge from the book. He said, "I will bring it to you before your glance returns to you." Quran 27:40. And before the prophet could even blink, there it was. Sulaiman looked upon the throne and said, "This is by the grace of my Lord, to test me whether I will be grateful or ungrateful. And whoever is grateful, his gratitude is only for himself. But whoever is ungrateful, my Lord is free of need and generous." Quran 27:40. Sulaiman then ordered his court, "Disguise her throne for her, that we may see whether she will recognize it or be among those who cannot recognize." Quran 27:41. He was not mocking her. He was awakening her. This was no game of kings and queens. This was a lesson of truth. When Bilqis entered the Prophet's court, her eyes widened. Never had she seen such order, such harmony, such light. Humans and jinn stood side by side in obedience, not to a throne, but to a message. The moment arrives, Sulaiman greets her with noble calm. The disguised throne sits in the hall gleaming. Sulaiman said, "Is your throne like this?" Quran 27:42. She looked upon it closely, her mind racing, her heart trembling. "It seems," she said softly, "that it is the same." Quran 27:42. A test of perception, and she passed it. Her intellect was clear, but now her soul was beginning to see. Sulaiman said, "Enter the palace." Quran 27:44. She stepped forward and gasped. Beneath her feet lay what appeared to be a flowing river. Clear, blue, alive. Believing it to be water, she lifted her dress slightly to cross. Sulaiman said, "It is a palace paved with glass." Quran 27:44. In that moment, her intellect bowed to revelation. Her pride melted before truth. She said, "My Lord, indeed I have wronged myself, and I submit with Sulaiman to Allah, the Lord of the worlds." Quran 27:44. The Queen of Sheba, once worshipper of the sun, now worshipped the creator of the sun. Her palace of gold could not compare to the peace in her heart. Her crown no longer carried weight, for she now wore the crown of faith. And so ended one of the most remarkable journeys in human history. A queen, a prophet, and a message that transcends time. Bilqis returned to Sheba, no longer a ruler of idols, but a caller to the truth. The people of Sheba embraced the worship of Allah, and the once sun-worshipping empire became a land of gratitude and light. And though time buried her story beneath sand and legend, the Quran preserved her truth forever. Not as myth, but as a mirror for all who seek guidance. In the story of Queen Bilqis lies a message for every soul. Wisdom without faith is a throne that crumbles. Power without humility is a palace built on glass. True greatness is found only in submission to the one who made us. If this story touched your heart, remember, your engagement helps this message reach others. Like, share, and subscribe to keep spreading these cinematic journeys from the Quran. May Allah bless all who seek His truth and guide us, as He guided the Queen of Sheba, to the light that never sets. The end.